Morning, Amani. I'm making this special video just for you. I was speaking to Mum yesterday and she said how you are so awesome at making heaps of cool little activities. And I thought, well, why don't I help you with some ideas? So I thought you might like to make a paper mache sculpture, particularly donuts. Whoops. So what we're going to do for this lesson is we're going to look at what is sculpture. We're going to look at an artist called Claes Oldenburg. We're going to look at what you're going to need to make the sculpture, how you're going to make the glue, and how to put together the donut base and then the paper mache, and then how you're going to paint the donut. So, what do you think sculpture is? Do you think it's different from pictures? Here's a picture. It's different, isn't it? Sculpture is a 3D artwork created by shaping or combining materials. Materials can be added or removed, such as carving, or they can be assembled by gluing or hardening, such as by fire. So today, when we make our sculpture, we are going to be assembling a base, and then we're going to be adding glued pieces of newspaper around it and letting it dry to make a solid object. So a sculpture is a 3D object that you can touch. So it's not a picture, it's a solid concrete object. In front of you here are some examples of famous sculptures. So you've got the statue of David. So they have taken away by carving out stone to create the image of this man called David. Then you've got the same technique. No, I think this is clay. So what they've done is they've got a big bit of clay and they've moulded it with their hands. So they've pushed and made the shape. And then this one here is assembled bits of, I think it's assembled bits of brass. So they've stuck things together and they've welded them together to make an object. And this one here is quite cool. I think this might be cast. So that means they've made an object, they've made a container for the object, and then they've poured something in with liquid and then painted it. And these are two New Zealand artists. Have you seen this one before? Yes, this is the Chalice in Christchurch. This is a really cool sculpture. And also this is from, I think it's Auckland. Look, it looks like a piece of fabric blowing in the wind. It's made out of wire. So the particular artist that we're going to look at today is called Claes Oldenburg. Now he was a pop artist from America. And at the time, a lot of American artists were painting about their emotions, about the war that was happening overseas, and a lot of the subject matter for the art was very, very serious. Whereas Claes Oldenburg, he was a little bit more light-hearted, and so he wanted to make artwork that was almost humorous and that would make people look at it and think, oh, what's that doing there? So as you can see here, he has created a sculpture of a giant ice cream that's been dropped on the building. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? It makes you think, how did that get there? Why is the ice cream so big? Are there some giants walking around at night eating ice creams who just dropped them on the building? And then over here, you can see that there's a giant spoon and a big cherry, almost like they've just scooped it off the top of a sundae. Look how big it is compared to how small the people are. So Claes Oldenburg makes things bigger than they are in real life to give an impact to his audience. Because if they were just small, we wouldn't even notice it. Whereas when they're so massive, we're like, that is a huge ice cream. And we look at it a little bit differently than if we were looking at it at the same size. Claes Oldenburg, he also does soft sculptures of food as well. Here you can see he's made some fries falling out of a bag that are made out of fabric. And he's also put an apple core here in a courtyard. So most of his sculptures are public sculptures. Have you seen any public sculptures? Do you know of any public sculptures around Christchurch? That means that the viewer is mainly people from everyday life who could come and appreciate it. And he actually wanted people to have a positive experience when looking at his artwork. He wanted them to think, what's that doing there? That's a giant apple core. And he wanted people to look at it a little bit more differently, a little bit more up close and think, oh, that's interesting. Maybe they hadn't thought about an apple core being the subject of an artwork, whereas a lot of artworks at that time had different type of subject matter. And people were kind of like, why is he putting fries in a gallery? And it made them look at the fries in a different way, like the way the fries is falling out of the bag. Is it falling out beautifully? Is it falling out in an ugly way? What does it make you feel that the fries is made out of soft fabric? Interesting, isn't it? So I chose Claes Oldenburg as the sculptor because I thought it would be really fun to make paper mache donuts. I think they look so cool. So here are some examples of paper mache donuts. Don't they look real? See, as you can see, you've got the base layer of the donut, so that's all paper mache under there. And then, so they've used the glue, they've got the strips of the newspaper, put them in the glue, and then put it over top of the tin foil. And then what they've done is they've waited for it to dry, at least a day. It needs to be really, really dry before you paint on it, or otherwise the paint will come off. And then they've painted a base colour, and with these ones here, you can see it's kind of like a bread type of colour, like a beige. And then they've let that dry. And then they've made this one a chocolate donut. So they've put like a brown paint on top of that. And then finally, they've put sprinkles on top. This one here has also got the base beige layer. Then it's got the pink, maybe it's strawberry flavoured. And then it's got these drizzles of yellow paint and then sprinkles. Quite cool. So next we're going to look at what you're going to need to make this paper mache donut. So the resources you're going to need are some flour, some water, a mixing bowl, a spoon or a fork or a whisk, some tin foil. That's going to be the base of it. That's how we're going to get the main shape of the donut. Then we're going to need newspaper, and we're going to pull that into strips. And then you're going to need some type of paint. It can be acrylic paint to paint your donut. Then you're going to need something for the sprinkles. I've left that up to you. You might have some sprinkles at home. You might have some beads. You might maybe crush up some little bits of pasta and paint them. I'm going to leave it up to your imagination. So this is a recipe for no-cook paper mache. So you might need some help from Mum here or Eve. So what you need to do is you need to get some flour. Now here it says mix 1 part flour to 2 parts water. So that means that you would need, say, 1 cup of flour to 2 cups of water, or half a cup of flour to 1 cup of water. And you put it in a bowl and you stir it until all the lumps are gone and the mixture is thin. If you've still got lumps in it, you might need to ask Mum to help you get them out. And then what you need to do is you just need to add, so then you just need to adjust the mixture. So if it's if it's too runny and it's kind of slopping everywhere, then it needs a little bit more flour. And if it's too thick and it's not really going to soak up into the paper, and it's a bit too much like cheese sauce, then you need to add a little bit of water. And then you can put it in the fridge until you're ready. And here's some tips for the glue making. You want to mix it really well, and then if you can't, you can use a whiz. Oh, also you want to add a couple of tablespoons of salt, so that stops the flour and the water going moldy. And also, when you're using the newspaper, you want it to be in strips, ripped into strips. And you can use tissue paper or paper towels if you want. So next you're going to let the newspaper strips soak in the paper mache before you use them. And you just put them in and let them soak right through. And you only want to cover your artwork with 2 to 3 layers and then let it dry completely. And then the final layer, if you want, can be in plain paper so it's easier to paint. But use the thinnest paper possible for this one so it's really well soaked in the paper mache glue. Then, oh whoops, I've left a few things on this page by mistake. Oh well, I can cut them out. So then what you want to do is you want to get your tin foil and make a donut shape with it. You really want 2 pieces of tin foil. One is to make the basic structure of the donut around and like all crumpled, and then you want to wrap over top the second bit so that it's nice and smooth. After that, you can use your prepared strips here, which have been soaked in the glue, and you want to wrap them around the donut. So you want to do 3 to 4 layers before you let it dry in a sunny spot. Okay. Then for painting the donut, you want to choose your base colour and you want to mix that. Then you want to choose your icing colour and mix that. You might have a couple of colours for the icing. Then you want to add sprinkles, which could be hundreds and thousands, small beads or small bits of coloured paper. And then you want to, when you're finished, you want to place it in a special spot for everyone to appreciate because it's important that other people get to see your artwork. Now, I've just got a little bit of inspiration here for you. So you could do like the plain base colour of the donut, so that bready type colour, and you could do any of these colours for the icing, and you could do lots of different things for the sprinkles. There's no reason why you can't make more than 1 donut as well. It might be quite cool to make a wee set, maybe like 3 or 4 of them. Here's also some more inspiration. Do you know this is actually a paper mache donut? And the reason that they've got the icing like that is really shiny is because they mix and paint with PVA glue. But I didn't put that in there because I wasn't sure if you had any. These are real donuts, and these ones are called unicorn donuts. You could even mix up different coloured paints and use that as well. And look, they've even got little sparkly stars in them. So yum. And then these are the real donuts. So you could make 3 donuts and stack them on top of each other. That would be so cool. So I hope you enjoyed the video I made for your Mani, and I hope that helps you make some paper mache donuts. If you do need some help, you are welcome to get Mum to message me or ask Mum. I will post this link to you so you can watch the video, and I'll also email Mum the slideshow so that you have each step if you want to take it a bit more slowly. Okay, hope you're having fun. Bye. Love, Coral.